Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and today we're going to react to another clip from the Joe Rogan podcast. This one is featuring Shane Gillis, and they are questioning what happened to the LA fire aid money. It's a good question. Let's see what they have to say.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Maybe it looks like a movie. What I sent Jamie yesterday, you want to get mad?
Yeah.
Let's get mad.
Let's get mad.
The LA fire fund, you know, they had this big show, big fundraiser. They raised $100 million.
What, did it all go to BLM?
Wait till you find out where the money went. It's James Lee did a thing about it on Instagram. Yeah, and there's been articles written about it where people are like, where's the money? The way they distribute the money is so crazy. You're gonna read this and you're never gonna want to donate to charity again, because you find out what charities are really, what a lot of these non-profits are really about. The lady running the charity that got the money makes almost $1 million a year.
BLM,
made,
Me Too.
Yep.
This.
A bunch. Same lady. No,
but it's all. Everyone's like, well, let me
Same
get a taste.
Fucking lady. She's killing it. Listen to this.
Okay, we were watching something the other day. What was it? Oh, it was the Theo Von interview with President or Vice President J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance did such a good job of breaking down in like this very layman's term type of way how when these they were talking about Doge, and he was saying, like, he broke it down how these government organizations would get money and then they contract out and then they contract out and then they contract out and then they contract out. So essentially the actual cause for the money, the reason that they were given this money only gets about, I think he said it was either 8 or 12% of the actual money. So if the government gave such and such foundation $100,000, the organization that it was meant to go to after all of the work has been contracted out gets 8 to 12% of those funds. And it feels like this is the same thing with these charities. It's like, oh, but so-and-so has to be paid, and so-and-so has to be paid, and so-and-so has to be paid. And then after that, the victims will get relief. And it's like, shouldn't it be the other way around? Perhaps that the money that people are giving to support natural disasters and people in need, that the money goes from the people get what they need, and then whatever's left over goes to that. It's like a non-profit. You're meant to not profit off of it. I don't understand. I get people are working there. People should be paid if they're doing hard work to make sure that these foundations and these organizations are actually running and moving and actually able to help people. But like, it's quite backwards to me. All right. Joe said we're going to get mad, so let's get mad.
It's like, well, let me get a
Same
taste.
Fucking lady. She's killing it. Listen to this.
I watched this. I looked into it a little bit. We'll watch it, but what they say though is that within the first month they distributed half of that money.
Hold on, before you press play on
I
this.
also don't trust this.
Hold on, that guy with the fishing hat is not a reliable news source.
That's my number one source of news.
And then he's trying to blame the Annenberg Foundation. That is one of the richest fucking families in California. They're worth so much fucking money. And
wonder how they got money.
I mean,
it doesn't matter. If
like liberal ass Jamie, you fucking Ohio State fan, liberal ass.
How about just play the video? How about play the video and let everybody figure it out for themselves?
Let's platform this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, play it, liberal.
Jesus.
I think that it genuinely should. The money should be. They should have to present receipts. If I'm sending my money, I want to know exactly where my money went to. Send me the receipts to exactly where my money went.
Let's platform this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, play it, liberal.
Jesus.
Sponsor might be one of the biggest scams in disaster fundraising history. And as usual, I'm bringing the receipts. First off, according to reports, the Fire Aid benefit concerts raised over $100 million, supposedly for LA fire victims. Cool. But since then, residents have been asking, where did all the money go?
$100 million raised for residents, community things, and funds that are supposed to help with houses, and there's no accounting for funds that are for residents, community things, and funds that are supposed to help with houses, and there's no accounting for
He played football.
let's figure this out. So, according to the Fire Aid website, it says that all direct donations will be distributed under the advisement of the Annenberg Foundation. According to the IRS 990 form, the Annenberg Foundation is a 501c3 based in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania.
I live there.
This
Conchi,
lovely
baby.
office building. One massive red flag
I know that
away
building.
is that only 33% of their annual expenses goes towards actual charity programs. The rest goes to administrative costs like executive compensation. If you look at the numbers, they treat you pretty good over there, starting with top dog Cynthia Kennard, who's making $750,000 plus another 6 figures in bonuses.
She started the fire.
Basically almost 7 figures just for one person there.
So they're doing exactly, if what he's saying is correct, they're doing exactly what I just said, is that before anyone that needs the money gets it, they're paying their corporate offices. How is this not illegal? Like, how is it not illegal? How is it not illegal?
Here is Cynthia, aka Cinny, hanging out with Gavin Newsom, discussing or strategizing about things like how to solve.
Would.
Both of them.
6 beers.
Yeah.
Anyway, just to give you a point of comparison with another nonprofit, Doctors Without Borders, they spend almost 90% of their money on actual programs versus less than 1% on administrative costs. Local journalists have also been asking, where's the money? They found, quote, the Fire Aid website names only 3 Palisades organizations that receive grants, among almost 120 organizations listed as receiving.
Couple Jew ones in there.
keep it
You see
going.
who got the money?
Couple Jew ones in there. Hold on, let me read it.
Why'd you stop?
Because he focused on the Palisades.
Just play it.
120
Just play it. We'll
organizations.
talk later.
Are specific to Pacific Palisades.
What to Israel?
Those 3 are Kehelet Israel, Chabad of Pacific Palisades, and Palisades Charter High School.
Listen, scorpions
Others have tried
sting.
to directly reach out to the Annenberg Foundation. They were kind of given the runaround, various extension numbers. Somebody saying they would call them back. No one called back.
Oh, it's
Also
customer
referring them
service.
to some mysterious man named Philip, no last name. He was never found.
Yes.
This is just crazy. So essentially what they're doing is taking the $100 million, then paying themselves roughly 70% of it.
Wow.
And the rest of the money they're dishing out to various other nonprofits with their own administrative expenses. And that's how $100 million
how-
just ends up disappearing.
Our government is in so much debt. It's like, are these not pyramid scams? Is this not in some way like a pyramid scam? Administrative fees? I feel like that's how all of it works. Is that how FEMA works? It is infuriating. And I'm not someone who has ever been in the position to actually need fundraising help. But if the day ever came and I was like, oh my God, thank you so much, Dave, we're going to get some relief, and the relief never came, and then I found this out, crash out. I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out.
Various other nonprofits with their own administrative expenses, and that's how $100 million just ends up disappearing.
Wow.
Benefit.
Okay.
I don't believe it.
I believe it.
Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's exaggerating. But at the very least,
This is what the
30%,
NFL does. The NFL does with the
30%,
cancer research stuff.
70% goes to administration. 30% goes to the actual cost.
These nonprofits.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're for
Oh,
their
that's
own
crazy.
profit.
And
Well,
the
it's just a
insurance bailed on
loophole.
him, too.
It's
It
a
is a
loophole.
loophole.
They
But they-
found a
but-
loophole to make a great living by being virtuous.
And then they see a fire. They're like, sick. We're all getting raises.
But all we're saying, Jamie, is that this guy is saying that 70% traditionally goes to administrative costs, 30% goes to the actual problem.
Right, that's for all
But
charities.
right, that is for all charities, for a lot of charities, but not Doctors Without Borders, which is one of the things that he brought up.
He just picked one, though.
Right,
He's
but he-
comparing you with this stuff to, he's like, I'll pick a charity. And he picked probably one of the worst ones, We've gone over the charity stuff many times.
So then why, if that is the way this is how it's run, which I have no idea. So say it is, like this is the norm, this is what every nonprofit does, then why announce that you raised $100 million and not say the actual money that you raise that is going to go toward the cost? Because then you won't have people outraged. It's called transparency. It's like after fees and dues and all these things, we raised $30 million. I don't know. It just feels like they're lying to people to get more money. And I don't know. What do you guys think? I just want to hear your take. Is this true? Do you think it's true? Has this happened to you? Have you been someone in need of and waiting for financial relief from a situation like this and it never came, and then you found out something like this? Like, let me know. I'm outraged.
So he's like, I'll pick a charity, and he picked probably one of the worst ones. You know, we've gone over the charity stuff many times. There's good and bad charities.
There's good and bad charities, but the point is that this $100 million you're saying was distributed to a bunch of different places, not just Pacific Palisades.
Looking into it, $100 million was a number that got used in advertising to make everything look big and look good. Probably, I was trying to say too, assuming that it is $100 million. There's a bunch of companies and a bunch of like artists that said, "Oh, I'm going to pledge $1 million. I'm going to pledge $1 million."
They never.
And you have to go collect it all. You don't know if they all sent it in.
Oh, you know how many times I pledged stuff?
I pledged $1 million to Notre Dame's NIL.
What story was that where someone was like, "Well, it's going to irritate me." I don't think I reacted to it, but it was like they were like, "We pledged it, but does it mean we have to pay it?" or something like that. I bet that does happen more often than not. That's another thing you have to think about. Is like people are pledging money that never gets collected. Just do better, everybody.
You don't know if they all sent it in.
Oh, you know how many times I pledged stuff?
I pledged $1 million to Notre Dame's NIL. I haven't done one single.
Did you do it by yourself?
Yeah.
Were you in your apartment?
No, I was at the fucking championship game watching Ohio State win, and I was going, Notre Dame needs a D tackle. I'm going to give them $1 million.
For real?
Yeah. No. And then they were like, "Hey, you want to give us that $1 million?" I was like, "No."
I pledged. Is that legally binding?
It was a pledge.
So, this was the one with all the guys. Ari Shaffir was there. All right, so yeah, I guess you can pledge, and it's it's an honorary $1 million apparently. All right, let me know your thoughts on this. I didn't know there was a benefit concert that happened. So, all right, if this is true, it's pretty sad. Let me know your thoughts and go and have the day you deserve. Bye.